Hello, hello, hello. It's coffee time. It's coffee time. Indeed it is. Indeed it's coffee time. That's better. Is it better? I don't know. News. We're doing news, so you don't have to do the news on the Daily Mail website. Top story. I'm not doing. This isn't a happy story. This isn't a good story, but this is a story that's really angered me today. It's the story of Uriel Gray, who's 49, and she's been jailed for 3 years for manslaughter. And what did she do? Well, we have a video here. Again, it's a tragic. Well, I see this as a tragic accident, but the judge sees it otherwise. But she's walking along the pavement, and there's a cyclist, and the cyclist goes into the road, right? And the woman on the bike, who's 77, gets killed, gets hit by a car, and he's killed, murdered, dead, boom, over. Well, firstly, you shouldn't cycle on the pavements. It's not a cycle lane. Again, we can go to. There's actually there's the Google Earth thing. There's no cycle lane there. That is a pavement. That is a pavement. And Miss Gray, who has been sent down for 3 years for manslaughter, is disabled. She's partially sighted. She suffers from cerebral palsy, and she lives in sheltered accommodation. Right? Yet the judge on sentencing says her disability plays no part in this. Well, I say otherwise. I say this is somebody who's partially sighted, who was. She said she sent something coming towards her fast, and she was scared. Her rights as a pedestrian thrown out the window. Her rights as a disabled person thrown out the window in favour of a cyclist illegally cycling on the pavement. Again, if you can't cycle in the road, then don't cycle at all. If you don't have the confidence to cycle in the road, then don't. This wasn't a cycle lane. She didn't physically push her into the path of a car. She gestured, and that was enough to distract the 77-year-old cyclist. And this woman's now been jailed. Her lawyer said there will be an appeal, rightly so. But yeah, Judge Sean Onright sentenced Gray, said her actions not explained by a disability. He said that Gray of Huntington had no mental disorder or learning difficulties, and that the pavement was 2.4 metres wide at the relevant point, describing it as a shared path on the ring road. No, it wasn't. As a pavement. It's not a cycle path. It's not marked as a cycle path. And the court previously heard that police inquiries had failed to establish whether the pavement was a shared cycle way or not. There are no markings. It is a pavement. Judge Enright acknowledged that partial blindness, cognitive and mobility issues and cerebral palsy that Miss Gray suffered from. However, he added it does not reduce your understanding of right or wrong. Yet the police described her as childlike when they interviewed her. And this is ableism at its worst cause. This is why I tell my son, who has a mental condition, he's on the autistic spectrum and has a different level of understanding to the rest of us. He sees the world differently. I tell him you have to be whiter than white, gooder than good, greater than great. You have to, for you, my son, you're going to have to be invisible out there. You're going to have to disappear completely, because if you do something, if accident, and that's the end of it. This, I think, is a great injustice in this world, especially when there are so many criminals we see. Again, I remark about them on a daily basis, getting off with far worse crimes. They just pat them on the head and send them on their way. And as a pedestrian myself, I don't like to see cyclists on the pavement. It makes me feel vulnerable. I've had cyclists, scowl at me because, hey, I'm in their way, and with my kids as well walking on the pavements. But hey, that's ignored. That crime is ignored. Because, hey, let's send the disabled woman who's partially sighted with cerebral palsy down. 3 years. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. And yeah, it's a tragedy. It really is that this woman died. But accidents happen. And I'm really, really angry about it. So that's cheered everyone up. What else can we talk about? Yeah, we'll do some more disabled news. This is the story. I don't know if did we talk about this. I can't remember. Yeah, this is the story of Kaylee Titford. She was basically left to die. She was left to grow morbidly obese and to die alone during lockdown. And her parents were sent to prison yesterday for a combined sentence of 13 years. Her father got 7. Her mother got 6 years. Yeah, it was again a terrible case. But it's come out today that despite her being what was her disability? I think it might have been trying to read where it was. This is what happens when you don't prepare. Anyway, comes out today. Her sports coach talked to the press and said that Kaylee Titford had potential as a future Paralympian. She took part in wheelchair basketball, and here she is in happier times, taking part in wheelchair basketball before her parents allowed her to grow morbidly obese and not take care of her. The parents spent £1,000. Was it £1,000 a week on takeaways? And basically, just let her eat herself to death. And yeah, again, this is what happens when the disabled are allowed to fall through the cracks of our society. Again, more ableism in action. Again, they blame the lockdown, but yeah. Oh well, it's not a very good one, is it? It's not a very good one. But I've been noticing, we had Matt Hancock and the leaked WhatsApp messages. He's denied. He's gone on to deny sending menacing late night messages to Isabel Oakeshott. She's the one that leaked his messages to the press, So he sent her. Did he send her messages in the night, threatening her? It would be interesting to see. But some more stuff's come out via these leaked WhatsApp messages. Again, Hancock pushed for schools to shut and made them stick to the rule of 6 needlessly. And he gave in to the mask wearing to stop arguments with Nicola Sturgeon, apparently. But yeah, and then Gavin Williamson, that idiot who was Education Secretary at the time, in these WhatsApp messages said that teachers hate work and we're looking for an excuse for time off during the pandemic. Again, many of us who had children at school at that time knew that teachers were going in and prepping. I mean, our schools, both the schools were prepping remote learning and working really hard. The junior school were looking after vulnerable children. Again, Herb could have gone in because he was classed as a vulnerable child. He could have carried on with his schooling, but we decided not to because his sister was at home and he wanted to be with her. But he could have gone in, and there were staff there working, and support staff. And so again, Gavin Williamson's another useless fucking idiot. I'm in a right mood today. Him and Hancock, right? Put their heads together, and a single bullet to take both of them out there. They are a waste of skin. These people make decisions on our lives, and they shouldn't be allowed anywhere near power. They are useless. All of these people are useless. God, I'm in a mood today. Meanwhile, again, families affected by COVID are calling for a police probe into Matt Hancock's WhatsApps. You've got to remember that this fella, he wasn't really paying attention. He was having an affair, a full-on affair with somebody he's known from his university days, who he took with him as his like PA everywhere, slipping her a portion, while his poor wife at home was suffering from COVID herself. These people are making decisions over our lives. You wouldn't trust them to feed the goldfish while you're on holiday, because you'd know they'd feed the goldfish to the cat. They're that fucking useless. Sorry. I'm in a mood. It's just put me in a mood. You can see why we're in the state we're in. Yeah. I don't know how to get. I don't know how to leap from the horrible stories to the funniest. I don't know how to. I can't do it. Maybe I should just do like a series of miserable stories today. What do you reckon? Okay, we should. Meanwhile, this was a story that broke the other day, and this is an absolutely terrifying story. This is the story of Zolia Elemi, and. Here's her mugshot. Here she is. And her story is truly terrifying, because she was a bogus psychiatrist. She worked for the NHS for 22 years. She used a fake degree which she claimed that came from a university in, I think it was New Zealand. And during that time she earned over £1.3 million in wages with a fake degree that helped her register with the General Medical Council. And again, it's only come to light. It was, again, a fascinating story. Phil Coleman, who was a chief reporter for the Cumbrian newspapers, started to investigate her background because, she was convicted for 3 fraud offences and theft because she tried to forge the will and powers of attorney of an elderly patient that she was treating for dementia, come into her sphere. And yeah, Mr. Coleman, who did an amazing job, managed to, figure out that she was a con man, con woman even, yeah. And she ended up being, she got jailed. But yeah, it's just a shocking story. I mean, how someone can basically, do this on a bogus, bogus medical degree. It's just absolutely shocking. Yeah, she was, but she got jailed for 7 years, so it's not really, it's nothing really. She'll be out 3.5. But this is what's going on. Okay, should we do the funnies now? All right then. Insulate Britain. Right. Do you remember the Insulate Britain, the eco-zealots? They were out actually in October last year, but this was the court case. Details of the court case came up, and Matthew Tully was one of the protesters. He caused gridlock in the capital's financial district. They heard at London's Old Bailey yesterday. And what's notable about Mr. Tully is well, we're dealing with a special brand of idiot. He actually glued his face to the road. Yeah, his face. He glued his face to the road. And let's just get the picture up. Here he is, thinking, I think I made a mistake here. Yeah, because you're an idiot. Glued his face to the actual road in Bishopsgate. And And there he is, getting his face ripped off the road. Yeah. Well, did you know it's World Book Day today? Apparently. Did you know that? And we've got some really good. Kids dressed up as their favourite characters. Of course, we've got the obligatory Harry Potter. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right, isn't it? Yeah. This little girl went as the Queen. I like it. I like it. It's good to get her Madge celebrated. This this girl's gone as an evil P. Hope that comes off. Be embarrassing if it didn't. And this fella's the poo collector. I'll take his word for it. Who are these characters? Again, what we want is Paddington. Here we go. There we go. He's got him. He's got Paddington down. But we do have a winner. Do you want to see the best one? Right, this is the best one. This is Ellis Wright, and he dressed up. He went as Prince Harry. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. I like that one. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. But he certainly steals the show. What else have we got here? Have we got any good ones? Here we go. This is the story of Emma Young from Plymouth. She was renovating her home, which was built in the 1930s, and she was, I guess, she was getting the floorboards up in the bathroom. And when the 51-year-old noticed there was a box, there was something, there's some rubbish, there's a small box there, and she pulled it out and she recognised it. She said, I recognise this. Yeah, she found, are you ready for this? 100-year-old bar of Cadbury's Dairy Milk under the floorboards. There you go. Put it on eBay, love. Put it on eBay. That's what you want to do. And here it was. Look, under the floorboards. It's not bad, is it? I don't know if she's gonna. Have some. But yeah, here's a close-up of the bar itself. They reckon it was produced between 1930 and 1934. So maybe the builders dropped it down there and was going to have it for their lunch. She said, as we were lifting the floor, we found original floorboards. As we were looking under them, we pulled out what looked like just rubbish. We dusted off the dust and found it to be beautiful cardboard. It's almost like a tube which has distinctive Cadbury colours, but I didn't recognise it as chocolate bar. I thought, oh gosh, this looks pretty old. And it had 6p on it, or 6D in those days. Yeah, she left it on the mantelpiece and Googled it, go and work out what it was. Well, it's got Cadbury's Dairy Milk written on it, love. I mean, crikey. Some people, eh? Meanwhile, they're talking about this male contraceptive pill, right? But it's not a pill. It's going to be a gel, right? And it could happen within a decade. And this gel, you apply it. It's called a testosterone gel, and you apply it to your chest, upper arms, and shoulders once a day. There's a little picture of that. And apparently, it's halts sperm production. Don't know about that, but yeah, it's fully reversible, unlike a vasectomy. And they reckon the treatment is going to be, it's going to be coming in the next decade. It reminds me of that joke. The guy goes to the doctors and says, "Have you got the new male contraceptive pill?" And he goes, "Yes, I have." And he pulls out a large white tablet Like about that big. And he goes, okay. And he goes, well, what? How am I going to swallow that? He goes, oh, you don't swallow this, sir. He goes, what do I do with it? It's a suppository? I went, no, sir. You put it in your shoe. I put it in my shoe? How's that going to stop me having sex? He goes, well, you put it in your shoe, sir, and it'll make you limp. I don't enjoy doing this, you know. I don't enjoy any of this. Meanwhile, top chef Kirk Hayworth has launched a new plant-based diet. Yeah. Trees. It's tree-based, apparently. It's called. He's developed a new kind of delicacy. Tregan. It is. Tregan. We're eating trees now. Will somebody think of the trees? And it's been created using fruit nuts that grow on trees. So it's not trees then, is it? It's nuts and fruit from trees. These people, useless. Apparently, W.H. Smith's has been hit by a cyber attack. Hackers have accessed company data. I wonder if they'll figure out why W.H. Smith's is such a bloody mess these days. Everything's in the wrong place. It's all disorganised. It's not good. It's not good. Do we have any other good stories? Oh, just checking. Here we have an hilarious roundup of funny snaps compiled by Bored Panda but stolen by Daily Mail, and I'm going to steal them now. So here you go. Here we go. This is you've got to see the little thing they did. Look, more fire, less fire. Well, that's clever, isn't it? What's the next one? That looks safe. I think that's safe. Yeah? That's perfectly all right. I don't see the problem with that. Yeah, taking off your visor to see what you're doing. Yeah, a bit of gaffer tape will hold it. A stick is holding up some telephone wires. Yeah. As you can see, his hard hat doesn't quite cover his big furry Russian hat. That's perfectly safe. Perfectly safe. Oh dear. And that's a fire exit. You don't want anyone using the fire exit without any authorisation, so they've padlocked it shut. There you go. Using a digger instead of... oh dear. Scaffolding. Oh dear. That is an unsafe load. It's going to blow away. Is that cocaine? I'm not sure. And that's just stupid. Now you're just being stupid. It's being daft, isn't it? Meanwhile, this is a strange story. Again, it's one of those weird stories that you've got to kind of rub your eyes and go, what? This is. Does it tell you what school it is? No, it doesn't tell you what school. Does it tell you? Doesn't it? It's a very strange story. Kettlethorpe High School. There we go. Incident at Kettlethorpe High School. I didn't name it in the copy, but some boys got into trouble because one of them. This is a Year 10 pupil who's 14 and autistic. Right. Lost a game of Call of Duty with friends and brought in and they forced him to bring in a copy of the Quran. Right. The book was later dropped on the floor, causing a minor tear on the cover and scuffling to the pages. This resulted in 4 pupils being suspended and the police being called because it's been recorded as a hate incident. As you can see, here is the damage. I think there's a little tear up there. I mean, this is what the police... Did you see how we're in... And oh my God, it's been scuffed. Oh my goodness, there's a little scuff in there. And you wonder why we're in the state we're in. Meanwhile, one of the boys apparently has received death threats over this. And like I say, the police have been called. Meanwhile, false rumours circulated that the book had been burnt or destroyed, causing further issues with Muslim parents and community leaders. Because we live in the age of stupid. Have we got anything else? There was a... I've got to find it. Here we go. Got an update. Got an update for you. Do you remember Kayla Lemieux? Do you remember? I'm getting demonetised, but what the hell? Do you remember Kayla Lemieux? Well, it looks like it's the end of the road. Here they are, walking by a swimming pool. Do you remember they've been placed on paid leave on Tuesday, although they continue to have a role at Oakville Trafalgar High School. This has come because that person's been spotted out and about without the prosthetic breasts and wig on, basically walking around dressed like a bloke. And yeah. But yeah, the Toronto Sun reported that the images of this person dressed as a man, i.e. it is a man, it's always been a man, it ain't ever going to be anything else because it's a man, and that's the reason why they've been put on paid leave. Because I said at the very beginning of this, I thought it was a troll. I thought it was a very carefully constructed troll. We do live in strange times, don't we? We do. We do. So what else have we got? We've got... This is a story. Michael Konchak, right? He's in trouble. Why? What's he done? Well, right, the 61-year-old of Carmel, New York, was up in court in Connecticut, right, because... Right. Again, I'm going to show them. Because some family dogs escaped, right, and he ended up shooting them with a crossbow and skinning them. Here's the family dogs, and he said he thought that they were coyotes. The 10-year-old family pets called Chimo and Lieben, yeah, were skinned. And he said they thought they were coyote. Here he is. I was going to say, who is he? Mr. fucking Magoo. I mean, 'cause it's obvious that they're not coyotes. I mean, how could you seriously mistake two, well, kind of look like Alsatian style breeds for coyotes? But yeah. But don't worry, I've got a good story, good animal story, right? Coming later on. Meanwhile, let's talk about Sonja van den Berg from Rotterdam. She had cosmetic surgery, and this is what she looks like. I wonder what she had done. I wonder what she had done. Any idea? No? I'm going to tell you. That's the beauty of this. Sonja, right, spent £2,500 on a hair transplant because she was self-conscious of her forehead. She didn't have a forehead. she had a 5 head, and so she's had her hairline restructured like this. And you go, okay. Oh, the dog's complaining. So now she looks like this. I thought she looked alright the first way, but yeah. All to get rid of your forehead. Okay, fair enough. Meanwhile, this woman, whoops, pop-ups. This is Dolly Smith, aka Dolly Mix. I spent 15,000, but I'm gonna show you a picture, and you can tell me. She wanted to style herself, right, to look like a certain famous icon. Any ideas? Any ideas? Yeah, I'll say it for the dads. Here you go. Can't get them all in. Have you got any idea who she wanted to transform herself into? Why? It was Marilyn Monroe. Okay. And here's what she looked like before and after. Again, another lady who looks perfectly fine before, and well, money well spent, I guess. Haven't got any other stories in the pile? How long have we got? Oh blimey, I've done far too much. I'm gonna have to stop now. But we've got one good story. I'm gonna end on a good story. We're gonna go to Turkey, right? And this is, we know we've had the earthquakes in Turkey, and more than 50,000 people in southern Turkey, northern Syria have been killed. And in an area called Hatay, and it says Antakya. Antakya is the town. The province is Hatay. There's video footage of them rescuing a husky. Here he is. He was pulled out of the rubble, out of the wreckage, after being trapped for 23 days under a collapsed 2-story building. There you go. Yeah. Alex the husky was rescued, and he's doing well. Yeah, he was trapped for 23 days without food or water. It's quite amazing story, and yeah, volunteers could see his nose through a small hole in the rubble, and it took them 2 hours to free him. And after his rescue, the dog was seen panting happily. The Siberian husky's ears pricked up, and he seemed alert as volunteers stroked and played games with him. So there you go. That's some good news to end today on. Even though I started a bit angry. Don't know if I recovered. Did I recover it? I don't know. I don't think I did. It's a bit angry. See if there's anybody in the chat. Probably nobody's in the chat. No, there's only 7 views, and I scared everyone off. Runs in. He says, we sure do live in the age of stupid. We do. Robert says, good afternoon, book fans. Indeed. Renault says, hi there. Brendan says, which famous person would you look like if you could? Buddha. And on that, that's the end. Thank you for watching. This was Coffee Time, killing one channel at a time. Blah, blah, blah. The news, drink up.